Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole, where on this Boxing Day, we're at the Djuma Game Reserve it's in the Greater Kruger National Park. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and what does the bush hold in store for us today? Well, it looks like it's a little bit rainy, just like it was yesterday, but who knows what we're going to have in store for you. You'll have to sit back, relax, and see what comes down to the waterhole. Now, as per usual, please don't forget that this is a live and interactive experience, so we'd love for you to jump on board with us and send us through your questions and your comments. You can do that by going on the WildEarth website and registering. You can also join the conversation on X, formerly known as Twitter, using the hashtag WildEarth. Also on the YouTube live chat. It might be a little bit quiet today, as it was yesterday, because the hotter the better, really, for this time of the day, and animals coming down for a drink. But a little bit earlier, there were some of the southern ground hornbills here. They seem to have disappeared, but who knows? Maybe they'll pop out again just now. As per usual, the woodland kingfisher serenading us. Is that a little dwarf mongoose? Yes, it is. Just on the right of that log, poking his head out. Most likely quite a few of them around. That's just maybe a little lookout. Looking a little bit miserable on this wet day. And speaking of the rain, I think it's time we're going to have a look what the weather's going to be like across all the different locations. So it seems like there's pretty much rain all round, except in Okukuyu in the Etosha National Park. But there's also been a bit of rain there. It's eased up a bit now. But yeah, wet, wet, wet once again. And of course, dwarf mongoose are normally cute little characters. Busy, busy. This one just seemingly looking out, maybe for the rest of them. They may be down in the grass. Sometimes the mongoose, when it's cold and wet like this, they do take a little bit of time to get up and ready and out of their burrows. So maybe they've just woken up. So some Piwe saying how's it from Milnerton, and there's also Witness saying good morning. Good morning straight back at all of you. Lovely to have you on board. There's an emerald spotted wood dove calling, a very somber call. So, Patisse, you say that you can't wait to see what the animals are going to be getting up to. Me too. Me too. Absolutely. It's always interesting, especially when the weather changes like this. And once again, when it is cool, we've got a little bit more chance of the predators being active. So that's what I'm hoping for. Maybe we'll be lucky and spot a leopard. That would be wonderful. So within the little families of dwarf mongoose, they really institute a social hierarchy, and each member of the group has a particular role to fill. And it looks like currently this is the sentry, the lookout, will probably be giving communication to the rest of the group. Little calls, little chirps, grr, grr. It's just that's the sign for everything's good. And if there was a predator in the sky, there would be a particular alarm call. It would normally be a little screech, but they'll give the direction or where the danger is coming from. And then you'll see all of them scuttling off if there is something like that. They spend normally very little time in one place. They move on every few days. But every mongoose in the group also helps to raise the babies or the little pups. And there's a alpha male and female, or there can sometimes be a pair of pairs in charge of every group. Very often we see the hornbills working in tandem with the dwarf mongoose as well. They go and sort of wake them up at their burrows because they are late sleepers, are the mongoose. And then the mongoose come out and they assist in helping bump out all the little insects and so on for the hornbills. So they work in tandem. So Jody, yeah, that's interesting. I think the animals probably would have some kind of call. We are dangerous to them, and we're sort of considered an apex predator. So yes, indeed, if you had to be walking up towards this log, I'm pretty sure that this mongoose would give off that little alarm call specifically for humans. I think so. But haven't quite identified that it's different to any of the other predators that they may come across. I think it might be there's a predator on the ground coming towards us, or a predator in the sky, because they do need to worry about birds of prey as well. Looks like a little bit of rain falling now.
Are you in search of a unique, unforgettable adventure in the wild? Imagine living with the animals you see on TV while getting an inside look at how a live safari TV show operates. We're thrilled to offer this experience through our 7, 14 and 28-day EcoCam experiences. To book your spot, visit wildearth.tv/EcoCam. Come and join us for the bush experience of a lifetime.
There's a black-crowned chagra calling off somewhere in the distance, also known as the bushveld jolla, with that very particular call of his. Just pan across and have a look out as we go. You can see rain on the horizon there. A glorious rain. We just want to see a leopard walking up the road towards us. That would be ideal. There's the hippo, just off on the left. Well, now almost in the middle of your screen, in the water. That's Dewey, our resident bull. He likes to play with sticks. Looks like he might be heading for deeper waters. And you often see quite a bit of activity around hippos in the water. It's most likely tilapia and catfish that will be moving in for any of the little insects that are in and around the hippo itself. As the hippo walks, it obviously churns up the mud, so then there can be sort of food made available. So, Patis, thanks for your question. And yeah, hippos, they can sometimes eat a little bit of the water grass and some of the weeds in the water, but generally they'll go out and they prefer actually grazing, the normal grass species. But sometimes there may be good feed, in the water itself. For instance, if there was a hippo in the water at Tau, I'm pretty sure that it would also like the elephants that move through in those shallows. There's quite a lot of grass that grows in that shallow water. It may feed a bit on the likes of that kind of grass, but otherwise they go on quite long nightly jaunts and also mark their territories as they go and do a lot of grazing then, being bulk grazers. There's the black crown chagra still calling. There's a crested franklin, or two of them, calling in duet as well. Chitchur, chitchur. Looks like Dewey's catching a bit of a snooze. Probably had a long night. Probably came back early hours of the morning, back into the water after going out to graze. So, Annabelle, you think Dewey was a drum majorette in a previous life? That's quite interesting. Yes, he does seem to like picking up sticks and throwing them around. So that would make a lot of sense. So, Ilana, thanks for your comment. And it is wonderful just sitting, enjoying all the sights and sounds of the bush. And the birds are really serenading us now, from the Meaves starlings to the red-billed buffalo weavers and the woodland kingfisher, black-crowned chagra, crested franklins. There's all sorts calling now. There's a crested barbet and the continuous call. Very good example of the sort of circular breathing. I think crested barbets would be the best didgeridoo players. The black-headed oriole also calling.
This immersive program will give you an in-depth understanding of the African bush in as little as 7 days. You'll be guided by expert trainers who will lead you through the various ecosystems of Africa and teach you essential bush skills. Join Eco Training's 7 or 14-day EcoQuest course and you will receive 500 Rand off whether you sign up locally or internationally using this promo code. Further your journey as a true bush enthusiast today.
And yet more birds calling, even the blacksmith lapwing joining the fray. Nice and cool. So the birds' voices obviously carrying a bit further now. That looks to be a Meaves long-tailed starling up there, just in its silhouette, top of that dead tree. So Picasso, I think you're speaking about the blue-spotted wood dove. I think there's a little bit of a different name to them, but you can get them here um, with a little bit more rare than the emerald-spotted wood dove. So in terms of their distribution, the blue-spotted wood dove, it occurs across sub-Saharan Africa, but it's absent from parts of Tanzania, Kenya, and Somalia. And in southern Africa, it's confined to north-central Mozambique, bordering on eastern Zimbabwe, with one or two localized populations in the Limpopo province. So it is a bird that we have the potential of seeing and also hearing, but it's a lot more rare than the emerald spotted wood dove, which is quite a common bird in these parts, and we're hearing them call quite regularly as well. And of course, which the bird that I think should be South Africa's national bird, the hardy-daw ibis, is called. There's a couple of spearfowl calling now, and while they carry on calling, I think time to change of place. Let's just switch it up a little bit, and I think we'll head to the Madikwe Game Reserve in the Northwest Province and Jamala. A little bit less wet than it was yesterday. It was pouring with rain here, which is wonderful for the area. Both the Pilansberg National Park and the Madikwe Game Reserve really need lots of rain. So I hope, I'm not quite sure exactly how much fell, but it did seem like it was quite substantial. But the sun's out again, and a lovely little family of warthogs. Look at those piglets go. Jeepers. And a Deirdre's cuckoo calling. Well, we watch this little family of warthogs. How many piglets do we have there? They can give birth up to about 8 piglets at a go, and up to 3 times a year. There's 4 of them. They are very, very cute, but they can't be too old. Oopsie, camera just doing a little bit of its own thing there. But we're back on target. And also in areas where you don't have a high prevalence of predators and sort of the real number controllers of warthogs, they can very quickly become overpopulated, and they're bulk grazers, so they can have a heavy impact on the veldt, and so in those instances, it's almost important to simulate predators and start to take them out, because they very quickly, substantially increase in numbers and then have a high impact, as mentioned, on the felt. Generally, where there are lots of predators, they'll be lucky if one or two of these babies survive. So, Jono, nice question around keystone species. And well, we normally refer to the keystone species as the ones that sort of have a high impact on their environment. So the likes of elephant and rhino would have a huge impact on their environment, and almost ecosystem engineers. Because elephants, pushing over trees and dropping dung everywhere, it's really important for the ecosystem, and a lot of the animals rely on them, because of the behavior of those specific animals. There's a lot of species that will be surviving because of them and as a result of them. So those are the ones that we then term the keystone species, having a high impact on the ecosystem, and a lot of species also relying on their presence for them to be able to survive. That's the call of the lesser striped swallow. They are migrants, and they come to nest this time of the year, so they're summer visitors. So, Justine, you said that you're loving all the bird calls. It's normally the cooler it is, the more the birds will call, because they don't really waste their energy around midday when it gets very hot. And normally there's quite a bit of wind that comes with the heat. Then the air is less dense, so their voice doesn't travel as far. And also, shouting into the wind, your voice doesn't travel far at all. So they more so reserve their calling for the early parts of the morning and late afternoon. And it also coincides with their sort of activity, waking up, and then before they go to roost. Um, so it's energy efficiency to call during those hours. But then when it is cooler, when there's a little bit of rain around and so on, you find that the birds will call further on into the day, as their voices obviously are carrying further. Um, and so it makes sense. As we see these little babies now all suckling from their mum.
We all know the struggle of finding the perfect gift. But what if you could give them an unforgettable experience? Something truly extraordinary. Introducing Nature Eye. Fly a real drone remotely at iconic locations, witnessing the beauty of nature like never before. Sign up to be an explorer and you could win one of these experiences yourself. Visit natureye.com today.
So even at this young age, you see the little piglets, they sort of drop down onto their hocks and graze like that. And it just makes it a bit easier, puts their head closer to the ground, and they don't need to bend down as much. You can often see the adults doing that as well. This is often the reason why the little piglets get taken out quite a lot by predators, because they're quite curious and they often stray quite far from the adults, and then they very easily become prey. Looks like they've headed for the shade. Trying to decide what bird this is that's calling. Could it be a grey-headed bush shrike or a black cuckoo? Maybe not either. So, Geronimo, birds will call for different reasons. Obviously, at this time of the year, there's a lot of breeding going on. There's a lot of territorial calls. And so there's also trying to attract a mate. So, depending on the species, if they're territorial birds, they can call pronouncing themselves, pronouncing their territories, but they can also call in display to try and attract a female, and they can also call in alarm for any kind of predators. But just with this general call like this during the day, it's mainly sort of, communicating with the other birds of the same species that, this is a proud individual and it's occupying this space. The lesser striped swallows, more so, it's just part of their, their daily calls, but also communicating with each other and letting them know that they're around as well. So, Annabelle, you're asking if the bird we just heard could have been a spookvoël. Well, exactly. That's a grey-headed bush shrike is what I thought it might be. A little bit of the part of its call. Spookvoël, the ghost bird, because of that sort of, which it sounded like, or it could have also been a little bit of a part of a black cuckoo's I'm so sad. That part, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm leaning towards this spookvoël, or the grey-headed bush shrike. These little piglets seem to be curious of everything that they come across. I think I can also hear some European bee eaters. That very soft sort of grrr, grrr. Well, there come the piglets back again. No, did these piglets get a fright from that Egyptian goose, maybe? Well, they just seem to be having a blast, running around, enjoying themselves, stretching their legs. Looks like Mom's going for a wallow in the mud. Looks like they're all going to join her. Oopsie. Let's just try and get in a little bit closer there, in on her. Warthogs just love the mud, that's for sure. And lots of brown veined white butterflies you can see on the left-hand side there. There we go. These little piglets already know that the mud is there for fun. And they absolutely love it. How cute is this? So, Wilma, you seem to agree with me. These little piglets are just a delight to watch. And just so that you know as well, there is a slight delay on when we try to control the camera. It takes a few seconds for it to respond. So we try our best to keep up with the animals, but when they disappear off screen, and it takes a little bit for us to move it. It's just so that you understand we're trying to, but there is that small delay. These piglets are just full of beans. Rolling about in the elephant dung as well. It's nice and soft. I don't want having a full-on scratch. Now he's going crazy. Look at him. going nuts. Don't go too far. You guys might get eaten. Oh, now it's a racetrack. They've got so much energy. I think it must be the nice, cool mud that's making them go crazy like this. It's just loving life.
Eco Training's professional field guide course can make your dreams a reality. This comprehensive program comprises 5 months of theoretical and practical training in the African bush with highly qualified instructors in multiple locations. Enroll today and receive 5,000 Rand off using the promo code. If you've just finished school or tertiary education and you want to head into the wild, Eco Training's professional field guide course is for you.
These guys are still going for it. Check it out. Now they've got a racetrack around this log. So I don't know about you, but these piglets are keeping me thoroughly entertained. It's just so full of energy. Bit of a wrestling match going on now between those two. Like Energizer bunnies. Now go for a bit of a roll around in the elephant tongue. So, Annabelle, good question. Where is Daddy Warthog? That's the first thing that I thought. Normally, they would stick together, so something must have happened to him. How maybe they got split up, but most likely is that he's been eaten by a predator, whether it's wild dogs, leopard, lion. As I say, I think it's just lucky that the female is still alive because she's the food supplier for now at this very young age. It's important that these piglets do get the milk that the mother is producing. So better the male than the female goes, if any. Maybe the male sacrificed himself for the better good of the group, and they made it, out alive. And this seems to recharge the little piglets when they go rolling in the mud. So let's see. Maybe after this, I'll be charging around again. So two things that warthogs love doing the most: wallowing in the mud, and post-wallow, scratching on a nice post, whether it's a rock or a log, whatever it might be. They just love it. There we go. That's hitting the spot. Look how its legs even wobbling. There we are, getting behind the ear, under the chin. Now, piglets recharged. Are they going to be scooting around? So, Starbuck, yeah, you say that these piglets have got serious zoomies? Absolutely. Seems like they're just loving life. Oh, I think that's a black cuckoo, not a grey-headed bush shrike. Because there he did neither. I'm so sad. Initially, he was just doing the sad part, but now he did a little bit more of the call. So I'm convinced. Black cuckoo. And a Deirdre's cuckoo calling at the same time. So, Jerry, you say that these warthogs are very blessed, having the place to themselves. Yeah, it's a little bit different to what we've been witnessing over the last couple of weeks because it's been very hot and it's just been dominated by the elephants. Not much space for any other animals, really, because they've just taken over. But now, since yesterday with the rain, seems like the elephant's not so keen to come down to the water and leaving the place for these pigs. Well, what a delight. Looks like they may have run a little bit out of energy. Play, 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 sleep. Maybe not. And I've noticed with warthogs, they also do sort of have their alarm call when they spot something or they want the piglets to come with them and they want to move off. It's just that's when you sort of hear that kind of snort and and then they'll be, all running to mom and then heading off with her. What a wonderful sighting that was. They still seem to be heading up that elephant path. So let's just do a quick scan around and see if there's anything else that we can watch while those warthogs seem to be disappearing. Those the lesser striped swallows are calling now. Beautiful call. I love that sound. Doesn't seem to be anything in the shade of the fig tree. Rather quiet. Okay, so as these warthogs are disappearing, and the wonderful sighting that they gave us, though, those very energetic little piglets. But now that they've headed off, I think we'll do the same, and let's head back to Djuma. Lots of birds also calling here. Ring-necked dove, first and foremost. Woodland kingfisher, of course. These red-billed buffalo weavers. So this little pond here is man-made, and that was made for when the actual pan itself was completely dry, so that there's still permanent water here and the animals can come and drink. But it's a bit obsolete now that the pan is so full, but who knows, in the future it may dry up again. So then at least they've got this small water hole that the animals can come and drink from. And with the rain being around, you can hear there's a whap, whap. Those calls, that is the bushveld rain frog. Special frogs, beautiful. And they don't hop, they walk. And they don't swim, they actually inflate themselves and float across the water. And when they get to the other side, or wherever they may have wanted to go, according to the current, they deflate themselves and walk off. Very special frogs they are indeed.
Hickory dickory dock, the kids ran to the spot. The clock struck 4, the kids sat down, hickory dickory dock. Our kids safaris bring interactive entertainment and learning to the future protectors of our world for 1 hour every weekday during our safari drives. Watch it live on your nearest device. Don't miss out on the fun. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
And the very slow, patient hunting of a grey heron. Looks like he was unsuccessful in that strike. Feeding on anything from tadpoles to frogs and fish as well. Looks like he may have spotted something. Success! It looks like a little tilapia that it got and already swallowed it down head first. And that'll sort of push all the fins and the spines down onto the body of the fish, and it won't get stuck then as it gets swallowed. It wasn't a huge fish, but that was a great kill. So Claire Bear, you love how they move in slow motion when they're hunting. Yeah, it's the methods of catching fish. You need to take them by surprise. Let's see, maybe it will get another one. Excellent fishermen are grey heron. Looks like he's spotted something else again. It's a real spear-shaped head. Got to get in a little bit closer. The focus is tangible. Looks to be going a little bit deeper. I think he's following in behind some fish. So Jimmy, glad to hear that you're enjoying the birding. It's yeah, very often when it is a little bit rainy, then that almost becomes the more sought after characters. Always wonderful watching a hunting bird, and to get a kill live on the show. Well, even if it's a little fish, we'll take that. I'm loving all the calls as well. Just really giving you the feeling of the bush. Oh, no, unsuccessful. I think it's rather refreshing for all the animals as well when it does rain. It cools them off a bit and gives them a bit more energy. And you can see from those little piglets, well, they seem to have been recharged properly. But the bush seemed to come alive after the rain. When it's very hot, it's a lot of the animals are quite lethargic and can become pretty quiet, apart from the elephants splashing in the water holes. Let's see if he can get himself another fish.
For those in the wet and cold this festive season, transport yourself to a warm and sunny Africa. With virtual safaris in real time. Interact with African naturalists, connect with fellow nature lovers across the globe, fall in love with nature, and join the WildEarth family this festive season. WildEarth, connecting you to nature.
And you got another one. Trixie, you saying they should be called graceful herons, not grey herons? I tend to agree with you, Trixie. I would also say master fisherman. And another one. Jeepers. I think he's just about had a nice full breakfast. Or what are we heading towards lunch? If he gets a few more in, he could probably go and chill out for the rest of the day. So we'll watch this heron just for a little while longer, and then we'll be introducing the Africam waterholes as well. So we'll have a number of other different locations to go to, as seemingly the rain is starting to come down as well now. Still a drizzle, but it looks like it's getting a bit heavier. I always find it's good fishing when it rains, especially a little drizzle like this, and the water almost seems to warm up, and the fish become quite active. Oh, and that's the biggest one yet, I think. Yeah. Spin it around, head first, down it goes. Shame these fish don't stand a chance with this grey heron. That's 4 in the last 10 minutes or so. Well done, chap. And as mentioned, in just a few seconds' time, we'll be introducing the Africam waterholes.